The heavens are never blind. The tears you cried in secret, the moments your heart broke behind closed doors and the heavy battles no one saw, heaven witness it all. And now the time has come. Archangel Michael stands before you, his sword of divine justice drawn, his voice thundering through the spiritual realms. The one who hurt you, betrayed you, lied about you and worked in darkness against you, has been exposed before the throne of God. The chains that held you back are breaking, the curses spoken against you are returning to their sender, and divine recompense is in motion. Archangel Michael says this is your moment to rise, to reclaim your voice, and to walk boldly into the destiny heaven has marked upon your name. Every hidden plot is being uncovered, every whispered lie laid bare. What the enemy meant for harm is turning in your favor. Get ready, because heaven is moving on your behalf. There are moments in life when the weight of betrayal can feel unbearable, when the people you trusted most turn their backs, when a friend's smile masks a dagger aimed at your heart, when someone you loved and believed in shatters that trust with a single act of deception. It wounds the soul in places no one else can see. What makes betrayal so devastating is not just the act itself, but the loneliness that often follows. It's the silent nights when you stare at the ceiling, wondering what you did wrong, questioning your worth, replaying conversations and interactions in your mind, searching for signs you missed. It's the ache of isolation when the world keeps moving as if nothing happened, while you're left nursing invisible scars. And yet, in those very moments of isolation, when you feel forsaken by man, heaven leans in closer, heaven witnesses everything. Not a single tear escapes your eye without being counted, not a single sigh of despair goes unheard. When the betrayal strikes and your heart shatters in silence, the heavens record it all. There is a sacred record, written not with ink but with the weight of human suffering and divine empathy. God does not turn his face away from pain. Angels are dispatched in those moments, bearing witness to your grief, standing guard over your wounded spirit, whispering words of courage to a heart too broken to hear them. Heaven does not simply observe, it prepares to respond. There's something powerful about knowing you are seen in your suffering. It may not erase the sting of betrayal, but it breathes life into hope. When humans fail you, when trust is fractured, when the ones you would have given your last breath for choose to harm you, knowing that you are not alone in your grief changes everything. The betrayal didn't go unnoticed. The lies didn't echo in an empty room. The slander that tried to tarnish your name was heard by an audience of angels. The heartbreak that consumed your nights became sacred in heaven's courts. There's a story recorded in ancient texts about a woman betrayed by those she trusted, cast out and left alone. In her exile she cried out, and it is written that God saw her and sent an angel to comfort her. That moment is a testimony to every soul who has been wounded in private. You are not abandoned. The heavens see, and more than that they remember. They record, not to dwell in your pain, but to orchestrate your restoration. When Archangel Michael speaks of an emergency, it is because heaven is mobilizing for justice. The heavens, being perfect in order and justice, are neither late nor blind. The betrayal you suffered, no matter how long ago, was never dismissed. Every act of treachery carries a consequence in the divine realm. The betrayer may have walked away, thinking their actions buried and forgotten, but the heavens have an unbroken chain of memory. There are spiritual laws that govern justice, and though mercy often delays consequence, it does not erase it. What makes betrayal most unbearable is the feeling of helplessness, the inability to defend your heart, to undo the harm, to make the other person feel your pain. You can't go back in time and unsay the words spoken in malice. You can't stop the ripple effect of their actions. You can't unhear the conversations where your name was dragged through the dirt. But where your hands are bound, heavens are not. Heaven holds the power to reveal, to expose, to vindicate. And heaven moves in its appointed time. There's a spiritual principle at work. What is done in secret is shouted from the rooftops in due season. The betrayer's moment of concealment was temporary. The lies, manipulations and sabotage crafted behind closed doors will not remain hidden. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The betrayer mistook your silence for weakness, your grace for ignorance, your patience for acceptance. But the heavens knew better. the heavens measured every injustice. There are times when God allows a betrayal to unfold not because He condones it but because He uses it as a catalyst for elevation. Throughout spiritual history the pattern repeats. Betrayal precedes breakthrough. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers before ascending to power. David was betrayed by Saul before claiming his crown. Jesus was betrayed by Judas before fulfilling his ultimate purpose. The betrayal you endured wasn't random. It was a prophetic trigger meant to separate you from environments that no longer deserved you, to reveal hearts too disloyal to continue with you, and to position you for an unveiling of purpose that could only come through the shaking of false alliance. Heaven witnesses every betrayal, and heaven responds in ways man cannot anticipate, sometimes through divine exposure, where secrets slip through the cracks and the truth surfaces, other times through elevation, where despite the attempts to destroy your name, you rise in favor and influence, and yet other times through inner healing, where heaven fills the broken spaces of your heart with supernatural strength, turning what was meant to break you into the very thing that refines you. The important truth is that your value was never diminished by someone's inability to honor it. The betrayal reflected their character, not your worth. Heaven never retracted its promises over your life because of someone else's disloyalty. In fact, heaven records your faithfulness in the face of injustice. Every time you chose silence over revenge, compassion over bitterness, prayer over retaliation, those moments were sacred in the courts of heaven. The angels that stood by you during those nights of sorrow carried your cries before the throne of God. They witnessed you holding on when it would have been easier to give up. They documented your integrity when you could have chosen vengeance. Those unseen victories in the spirit will bear fruit in the natural. You are not defined by what was done to you. You are not limited by who left you, who betrayed you, who misused your trust. Heaven has the final word over your life, and that word was never spoken by the betrayer. The one who hurt you will answer not to you, but to the divine justice system of heaven. You are not tasked with carrying the weight of revenge. Your role is to heal, to rise, to move forward knowing heaven holds the scales in perfect balance. The one who hurt you did so in the sight of heaven. Their actions are written into the divine narrative not as an ending, but as a turning point. What felt like loss will become testimony. What seemed like defeat will become deliverance. Heaven witnesses, not just the betrayal, but the aftermath, the resilience, the tears, the whispered prayers. All of it matters, all of it is seen, and all of it will be answered. You are standing at the threshold of that answer now. The reason Archangel Michael announces it as an emergency is because there's an urgency in the spirit, a shifting, a breaking open of hidden things. This is the hour when what was concealed is revealed, when what was stolen is returned, when the narrative written against you is torn down and replaced with heaven's decree. You are no longer a victim of betrayal but a candidate for divine recompense. The heavens have seen and the heavens are moving. When heaven dispatches its warrior angels, it is never without cause. Archangel Michael, often depicted with his sword of fire, stands as the chief defender of those who have been wronged, abused, abandoned and betrayed in the unseen battles of the spirit. His very presence signifies a heavenly intervention, a disruption in the invisible realm, where the forces of darkness conspire against the destiny of those marked by divine purpose. When Archangel Michael moves, it's because someone has cried out, someone has endured injustice too long, someone's name has been dragged through the mire while their hearts silently shattered beneath the weight of human cruelty. The battles you face are not solely of this world. There are spiritual dimensions that exist alongside the visible, realms where accusations are made, judgments passed, and destinies challenged by unseen forces. The betrayal you suffered was not only a human act, but also a spiritual weapon meant to derail your calling, to sever you from your confidence, to drown your voice in a sea of silence. Archangel Michael, as heaven's appointed defender, steps into these realms carrying the authority to overturn unjust verdicts, to sever the chains of oppression, and to silence the lying tongues raised against you. There is a reason the ancient texts describe him as the one who contended with the adversary over the soul of a righteous servant. It wasn't merely a contest of wills. It was a declaration that the innocent would not be abandoned to the schemes of darkness. In the same way, Archangel Michael contends for those betrayed in secret, when slander poisons the atmosphere around you, when lies circulate behind closed doors, when envious hearts conspire in shadows. His sword draws a line between their intentions and your destiny. His authority cuts through the cords of spiritual manipulation, breaking the invisible agreements spoken in jealousy and treachery. Many do not realize the magnitude of what transpires in the spiritual realm when betrayal occurs. Every word spoken against you in deceit becomes a legal accusation in the unseen courtrooms of heaven. Every scheme plotted in darkness carries a weight that can either prosper or be overruled, depending on the defenses raised on your behalf. When no one on earth stands for you, when friends vanish and allies grow silent, heaven deploys its defender. Archangel Michael does not require public validation to act. His orders come from the highest authority, and his movements shift the balance of battlefields you cannot see. The ache of betrayal often lies in its secrecy, the unseen meetings, the private conversations, the whispered plots. It's the betrayal by those you called brother, sister, or friend that wounds deepest, because it carries the sharp edge of intimacy turned weapon. And yet, in those shadowy places where human eyes cannot reach, Archangel Michael is present. He stands witness to every conversation, to every plan formed with your harm in mind, to every contract of betrayal signed in the spirit. Where you were not invited, where your name was defiled, heaven's warrior heard it all. Heaven is deeply invested in justice, particularly for those who have kept their hearts pure amid persecution. It is written that the eyes of the Lord roam the earth, seeking those whose hearts are loyal to Him, so He may show Himself strong on their behalf. Archangel Michael's role is to embody that strength, to manifest heaven's protective power over those too wounded to fight. He carries not only a sword but a decree, a written verdict, from the throne of heaven declaring your deliverance, your vindication, your restoration. When the enemy thought to bury you beneath the rubble of lies and deceit, the heavens did not stand idle. Every silent tear you shed, every time you clenched your fists in anguish, every moment you wondered if anyone saw the injustice, it was counted. And as the injustice accumulated, so too did the heavenly response. There is a tipping point in the spiritual realm, a moment when the accumulated cries of the wounded rise like incense before the throne, demanding response. It is in these moments that Archangel Michael steps forward, sword unsheathed, eyes blazing with heaven's fire. He doesn't come gently. The gentle angels comfort and heal, but the warrior angels disrupt and destroy. They tear down strongholds, dismantle lies, expose secret covenants made in darkness. Archangel Michael is assigned to fight not only the external battles, but the spiritual ones that have long bound you in cycles of betrayal and sabotage. Some betrayals you suffered were orchestrated by forces older than you, generational patterns of destruction seeking to repeat themselves through familiar spirits operating in new faces. Michael's task is to sever those ancient ties, to demolish the platforms built by your ancestors' enemies, to cancel the agreements made by the fearful and the faithless before you were born. This is why some betrayals feel unexplainable, why certain people you trusted turned against you without cause. It wasn't only their human frailty at work, but the influence of ancient resentments and invisible contracts designed to halt your progress. The spirits of envy, sabotage, slander, and division thrive in secrecy and silence. They convince betrayers to operate unseen, believing no consequence will follow. But Archangel Michael carries authority to disrupt that secrecy. He shines light into places long darkened by deception, overturning the tables of hidden conspiracies. The battles Michael fights on your behalf aren't always visible, but their effects are: a sudden exposure of truth, an unexpected confession, a removal of toxic people, a mysterious lifting of heaviness you didn't realize you carried. Relationships abruptly ending that seemed fine on the surface, opportunities opening where doors had long been shut. These are the aftershocks of a battle won in the heavens. They are the evidence that your defender has moved through your circumstances, clearing the debris of human betrayal and spiritual attack alike. There are spiritual battles so fierce, human intervention is insufficient. When your reputation is under attack in invisible circles, when your peace is assaulted by unspoken rumors, when your progress stalls for reasons you can't explain, It is the hand of heaven through Archangel Michael that intervenes. He contends with the accuser, not simply accusing in return, but presenting the record of your suffering, your faithfulness, your integrity amid trial. He stands as your advocate when no one else dares speak. His sword speaks what words cannot. In times past, Archangel Michael was dispatched to defend entire nations, to contend against principalities bent on destruction. Yet the same heavenly authorities assigned to protect kings and prophets moves on behalf of the overlooked, the betrayed, the slandered, and the broken-hearted. The heavens show no partiality in their justice. If your cry has reached the throne, if your anguish has echoed through the unseen corridors of eternity, the warrior angel moves as swiftly for you as for the mightiest ruler. You are not forgotten, you are not overlooked, and you are certainly not unprotected. Archangel Michael's sword does more than defend. It separates. It cuts away the ties between you and those who were never meant to accompany you forward. It severs soul ties formed with betrayers. It dissolves the influence of voices raised against you in secret. It divides truth from falsehood, exposing lies, and upholding your name in the spirit where it matters most. Often long before your vindication reaches earthly ears, it is established in heaven, where Archangel Michael has already contended for you. The weight of betrayal can crush a person's spirit if left unchecked. The enemy knows this, which is why betrayal is one of his oldest weapons. Its sting leaves the heart doubting, the mind racing, the spirit weakened. But what the enemy did not anticipate was heaven's immediate response. Archangel Michael was dispatched before you even uttered your first cry of pain. His sword drawn, his mandate clear: defend, contend, and deliver. He moved through the unseen, silencing the spiritual accusations leveled against you, confronting the spirits of envy and treachery, dismantling the altars where your name was cursed. This is why certain attacks against your peace didn't prosper. Why, despite intense opposition, you kept standing. Why, in the moments you wanted to give up, strength inexplicably returned. Why doors opened without explanation, and why certain people fell away without cause. It was never coincidence. It was the aftermath of a war fought on your behalf, in realms most will never see. Archangel Michael did not wait for your permission. The cries of your heart and the injustice of your betrayal were permission enough. Even now he contends for you. In the places where slander still lingers, where jealousy plots anew, where familiar spirits seek to resurrect old betrayals through new faces, Archangel Michael remains vigilant. His sword remains drawn, his authority undiminished. The same angel who battled for prophets and kings wages war for you, not because of your status in man's eyes, but because of the value heaven places upon your life and your destiny. What was meant to silence you will become your testimony. What sought to break you will forge your anointing. And every scheme raised against you in secret is met with the fury